Hey, so I'm going to be attempting one of the hardest style paintings I have ever done. And it's like, I know how to paint, don't get me wrong. I've painted on canvases, on cardboard, metal. Oh, that's a lot larger than I thought it was. I don't think I've ever painted on a t-shirt before. Oh, I have a big room on this desk, hang on. I don't know if this is gonna work. There we go. I don't think I've ever done t-shirt painting before. There we go. And this is a birthday gift from my father-in-law, so I'm like petrified. But I got my shirt already washed. I got my fabric paints. Instructions were clear. I got my palette, my brushes, my water. I might need to cut this cardboard. Making sure I'm not cutting the shirt with it or not. That's better. And since my father-in-law's birthday is like 2 days before my mother-in-law's, stay tuned for next week's video where I'm going to be painting on a canvas tote bag for her. But today is about his shirt. And I only have a couple hours to do this, so we're just going to jump right in. I have my reference too. Alright, so even though I have never done fabric painting before, I mean, how hard could it be, right? Yeah, let's talk about it because oh my god. So I probably should have definitely used just one large piece of cardboard instead of two half pieces. I only had these half pieces because these are the same cardboards that I had when I was making that big Zin container for my brother-in-law. So I just had them. I figured I already have them. Why would I get new ones? I mean, I work a job where I literally work with cardboard 24/7, but that still doesn't mean that I'm gonna go around just grabbing pieces of cardboard and bringing them home. I mean, my father-in-law does sell Hot Wheels on eBay and he always asks me for cardboard, and I could have just went downstairs and got one of his, but it's fine, I already had these. Now, I did not have a sketch going into this. I kind of just like winged the silhouette of Eddie, which is, you know, the Iron Maiden guy. The Iron Maiden guy, it's Eddie. But I just kind of sketched it with white paint directly onto, I was gonna say canvas, the t-shirt. And let me tell you, just filling in the base alone took me like an hour and a half, and it was mostly because that white paint was so thick. I don't know why that white paint was as thick as it was. I, for some reason, had a very hard time working with it. I think I maybe got a bad bottle, unless all white fabric paint is supposed to be like that. I'm not exactly sure. But I did end up mixing it with like a lot of black and brown for different variations of like gray and brown and that kind of stuff. All the other colors were very, very thin, like regular, like apple barrel paint, the paint I'm used to, liquid body. It was just the white that was giving me an issue. Once I was able to get everything down, for base-wise, I started working slowly on different aspects of the painting, I guess. The face was definitely the hardest part because in the album covers, Eddie has he has a very wrinkly face, and to define wrinkles on this, they just kind of blended together and came out, but I still do like the way that the blending came out. He kind of looks, I want to say like a tree monster almost. Like he reminds me, especially his arms, reminds me of like a tree monster. So I was able to just kind of push and blend the colors around to get the effect of the wrinkles that I wanted. And I shockingly am really happy with the way the brown came out. I thought I was going to have a hard time mixing that brown color, but no, it's literally just brown. Because that bare bones brown I have, for some reason, that color is very hard to make dark without it going black. And it's a very gray brown once it starts to dry, like just on its own. So I was mixing in different colors. Are you shitting me? My computer just decided to like restart as I was opening it. Great. I think the part I like about making this the most was actually the highlights, the yellow. And I wasn't sure if I was going to go yellow or blue because the original reference I had like months ago when I first thought of this idea, actually, I was going to buy him a shirt with Eddie on the back, but it was so hard to find one because he likes shirts with designs on the back. So I was like, I need to find one with him on the back. And I couldn't find one, so I decided to paint it. But my reference was blue, and then I lost my reference. And when I pulled out a new one, it was yellow. And I was debating on if I was going to keep it blue or if I was going to go yellow. And I did obviously decide to go with the yellow route. But painting the shirt, I painted the whole thing this whitish gray color because I wanted to spread the white out just in case it didn't last because it was so thick. So I painted that whole thing the gray white, and then I went over spots with the yellow and then the black and the gray. And honestly, the contrast with the highlights and everything. I love the way that came out. It looks so freaking cute. I say cute, like my own paint. I've never painted anything in this kind of style before, but I love just like the highlights of the yellow. There's no lightning bolt, which I realized that would have made a lot of sense. Hey, what can you do? I did this in the course of like 3 hours. I was rushing, man, you know, because I had to make sure that this paint dried in time. Because these paints are like the Tulip brand fabric paints. It says that you need 2 coats of paint, which this has well over 2 coats of paint, so I hope to God that doesn't fuck with anything. But it says it has to basically sit and dry for 4 hours, and it has to cure for 72 hours. I mean, it's been well over 72 hours. It's been like a week since I've done this painting, so it should be ready to go, like to wash and wear and everything, but I'm still nervous that it's gonna chip or something, especially in some areas where it's either really, really thick or really, really thin. Like the hair, probably there are some spots that only have 1 layer because I was definitely relying on the dryness of the paint to add texture to his hair, because I was mostly just letting the paint make the hair strands for me instead of, like I said, just relying on the texture. And I do love the way the texture looked for his hair, and it looks super scraggly and all that fun stuff. And I'm also just realizing now that I forgot the blood on the axe, but it's his birthday as of recording yesterday, so oh well. He works night shift, so I didn't see him on his birthday. So I'm doing a celebration the day after, because it's his birthday, and then there's no birthday, and then it's my mother-in-law's birthday, which is next week's video. So be sure to stick around to see that. Also, there's just a bunch of loose paint just like all over the end of this, because my wrist would be touching the paint and then it would just get everywhere. But hey, what can you do, you know? It definitely has a handmade look, and I'm so super happy with the way it turned out. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. Oh, and also a quick mention, if you made it this far in the video, I got banned from Instagram. So there's no Instagram anymore. I have Blue Sky now. I'll definitely talk about why I got banned in next week's video, because it's really stupid. It doesn't look like I'm getting anything back anytime soon. So yeah, be sure to check out my Blue Sky, which is down below in the description. And then my Etsy is also down below. I mean, you're probably not gonna get anything in time for Christmas at this point, but New Year's or late Christmas gift. Alright, here is the full painting. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week with my mother-in-law's gift and how I got banned from Instagram. Bye!